Residential Report Writing and Case Studies, Chapter 4, The Uniform Residential Appraisal Report, page 24, continued. Are the utilities and off-site improvements typical for the market? The question is meant to reveal if the subject is non-conforming or atypical with respect to utilities or off-site improvements. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac state the property's utilities must be typical for the area. If most of the properties in the area have a well and septic system, then Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will accept the property and purchase the loan. The appraiser must provide the support for what is typical for the area. Are there any adverse site conditions or external factors that would affect the marketability and/or value of the property? This question entails several different areas of concern for the appraiser. Number 1, are there any adverse site conditions relating to use or utility? Some of the characteristics to consider are excess land area, atypical frontage, odd size or shape, inadequate drainage, a flood zone, unusual topography such as a steep embankment, etc. Number 2, is there a market impact due to apparent easements and/or encroachments? An encroachment is the outright use of another owner's property without his or her knowledge or approval. This condition may have a negative influence on the property value. Typical utility easements usually do not affect the value of a property. However, other types of easements, such as access rights of right of way, may be detrimental to the property rights of the property owner and may affect value and/or marketability. The appraiser must determine whether this is detrimental to marketability and value of the subject property. Number 3, is there external obsolescence, either economic or locational? External obsolescence is a loss in value due to conditions outside the boundaries of the subject property. Some examples of commonly found external obsolescence are: 1, property fronts a noisy and/or busy street. Number 2, property backs to a commercial property. Number 3, property is across the street from a commercial outlet. Number 4, property is near the railroad tracks. Number 5, property is in or near the flight path of an airport. The appraiser must evaluate the conditions and determine their impact on marketability and value of the subject. 1, are there any adverse environmental conditions? It is the appraiser's responsibility to look for apparent adverse environmental conditions and toxic hazards in and around the property site. If the appraiser becomes aware of possible adverse environmental conditions during the research for the appraisal assignment, that disclosure is also required. Number 2, are there any adverse land uses which could be classified as either external obsolescence or an adverse environmental factor? Residential land use should be protected and/or buffered from nuisances and hazards caused by neighboring properties, land use. Failure to provide such protection may cause a negative impact on the marketing and value of the subject. The appraiser must analyze market data and support the adjustment to value due to incompatible land uses in conjunction with a residential area. Naturally, the appraiser should be able to support any comments concerning the marketability of the subject and impacted value of the subject property due to noted adverse conditions. End of page.